All right, buenos dias, ¿qué pasó, amigos? John's Moto Garage. We're out here in an undisclosed location, beautiful state of Utah, and we got the adventure rig and we got the motorcycle. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit today about this Black Widow Hitch motorcycle carrier, and we'll go over a few things. We'll go over ease of use. Can you load it up with a single person, unload it? We'll go over more or less how I went about loading the bike up. Hold on, big guy. We'll go over stability. Does the thing feel stable? I just did a 10 plus hour, I don't know how many miles, but a pretty decent drive with this thing. And so we'll go over that as well. And some of the details, stay tuned to the end. I'll let you know how much I paid for the ramp. Yeah, because I picked it up used on Craigslist, of course. And this will just be kind of a one and done shot that I'll get you. And then ultimately we'll unload it as well and let you know how that goes. All right, so for starters, it's a Black Widow ramp, and this one I think has up to 600-pound capacity motorcycle carrier. Nice thing about this is you have the 4-point tie downs, which I think they all have. Now, the one thing I was a little disappointed about is when the bike is up on it, it doesn't really hold itself up. So you can kind of balance the bike, but until you have those tie downs down, or until the tie downs are in place, it's not going to hold itself up. So you can do it one-handed or one person. I pulled it off solo. However, it's going to be easier if you have somebody to hold the bike in place. That way you don't risk it tipping onto yourself, tipping onto the vehicle, or falling straight to the ground. And I'll show you a clip of the bike in action, or sorry, I'll show you a clip of me driving with the motorcycle here so you can see how it rolls on the highway at highway speeds. But all in all, it's pretty dang stable. As you can see, the bike itself is pretty stable. The ramp itself is what moves around quite a bit. And so the dude who I purchased it from recommended tying it down like this to help eliminate some of the wobble side to side. I don't know how much that actually worked though. You see, you still got quite a bit of movement, but on the road at highway speeds, it did just fine. And again, this was like a 10 plus hour drive. Every time we stopped, I would double check, make sure that everything was tight, and I never had. So as you can see, here I am cruising on the freeway, 80, 90, 150 miles per hour. JK, I was probably going about 75, but the bike is fairly stable, a little bit of movement when you hit bumps and whatnot, but overall pretty solid ride. So again, like I said, no issues. One thing I would recommend is two tie downs on either side of the handlebars, just for good measure if one were to fail. That way you're not running into any potential issues. But otherwise, pretty solid ride. I'm gonna go grab the other ramp. Oh, and that's the only other thing. The loading ramp, there's nowhere to place it on the actual ramp itself when there's a motorcycle in tow. So hopefully you have a vehicle that's able to carry the loading ramp, because it's a pretty big ramp. But as you can see, it's pretty easy to set up. You've got these 2 pins here that slide right like so. And then bam, there you have it. So I'm going to demonstrate how you can do this with one person, but it's a bit sketch. So if you have 2 people, that's the easier way to do it. So when you let this one loose, you got to make sure you're holding the bike, because it's going to want to pull. And then of course, same thing over here. So it's actually wedged in there pretty good to where right now it's chilling on its own, but you don't want to risk it falling either way, so keep a close eye on it. And then Yeah, you see like this, how it could easily fall right on top of it. Now this is the tough part. So as you can see, it's totally doable with one person, but if you have two, it's gonna be way, way easier, and you don't risk letting the bike jump on top of you. So once the bike is off the ramp, you can store this piece right in here. It slides on like so, and then you just drop the pins in place. Easy peasy. All right, there you have it, you guys. John's Moto Garage. As always, I'm not a pro. This is my first time ever doing it. I'm sure all of you can tell me like 50 things that I did incorrectly and that are going to be detrimental to the integrity of the motorcycle and the ramp and the vehicle. So feel free to leave those comments below, but this isn't a how-to. This is just how I did it the first time through and me learning how. All right, if you dig the content, like, subscribe. We'll hit you guys up on the next one. But there you have it, the Black Widow ramp. Adios.